Okay, so it's like 6:10. It's weird how patterns develop, I swear to God. Um, but it is so foggy here. Like it is, like when I looked out this morning, now it's getting more light. But when I looked out this morning, I was like, oh my God, it looks like a scary movie out there. I don't even want to open the door. It's so eerie. And it's so cold too. Um, but anyways, the weather, whatever. I mean, it's just so weird. Yeah, there's a big hurricane, I guess another one coming to hit Florida at the beginning of next week, and it's just going to sit over Florida, and it's going to go up through Louisiana and then get stuck in Florida apparently for 4 days and just keep kicking their asses in these storms. I saw this guy who was a Native American fella, and he was talking about a dream he had and that he felt he needed to share it. And in the dream, an elder came to him, and it wasn't one that he knew was a really old man. And he kept showing him when you turn on the faucet and you fill your glass, he kept showing them that. And every time he looked at it, there was tons of bugs. And the man told him that they are going to make people sick with the water. They're filling it full of bacteria, all sorts of stuff in people's water, like all sorts of diseases and sicknesses, because they have control over our water. Because people think like you turn on your faucet, well, it's going through a whole system that they created, just like their electricity, all their stuff is stuff they have control over. So we're not getting real water, we're getting whatever. And they can say, that they need to do this or that or whatever. It's just and but that is something that like was seeing from like a long while ago. I was saying that there's something with the water. You got to stay away from the water. And I started going and getting water, and then I even got so paranoid. I'm like, "Oh, are they messing with that water? I need to go get more too." But it's an underground spring. But I don't know, these people, like I don't put anything past these people. And I know there's not a whole lot of safe water sources. And this guy said that the elder showed him a spring and said, you got to get fresh water and don't be drinking their water. Which is, I used to take a bath once or twice a week, just soak in the tub. And I don't even want to soak, like even washing my hair and everything. It's like, I know that there's stuff in this water. And even when I confronted the water lady the other day, she said, oh no, it all comes from a well underground and all this stuff. But I don't know. I don't trust any of their shit. And then like you can look up the EPA reports on the water of your area, but I don't trust the governing agencies to tell us the truth. So you just have to use everything with caution. Like, and it's not safe to go be like, well, I'm not going to drink water, then I'm just going to drink. Like a lot of people were getting filters and stuff. There's some of this stuff, though. There was a guy who was doing all these tests, and you can boil it, and you can't boil this stuff out. You can, like, the bacterias and stuff, like, but then they're making these bots, like, they're putting this stuff with an extra shield around it, so it goes into us, and then it's supercharged. So to me, it's like you just gotta have awareness what we're fighting against is the biotechnologies and bio warfare and stuff, and everything they have control over. That was never somebody that we could trust. It was all a lure, but it was all what is that called? It is like it was all a trick. And so the let me think what I was saying. Whenever she makes that little wail, this high-pitched thing, it always throws me, especially she is still having a hard time, but it like goes back and forth. But that smell too, and it just makes me worried when I keep smelling this certain smell. And then it's like, man, and she keeps having these breakouts, more of these cysts. And then it's like, oh my gosh, the medicine I give her, like everything that we take that we don't make for ourselves is like risky, man. And then this guy said, so he was really concerned about this dream when he woke up. And so he was kept being on his mind and on his mind. And then he had a second one. And this one, the elder guy brought somebody with him, and they touched him on each shoulder and took him to someplace different. And he was at a farm, and he was seeing these guys messing with animals, all these wild animals, and they were making them sick on purpose. And the two guys told him that they are messing with all of the food, the wildlife and stuff. And you know what I was thinking? Remember, I think last year or the year before, and everybody was going into panic mode because they were blowing up all of these food places. And I started thinking, but if it was like the good guys blowing them up because the bad guys were going to use them all to make us sick. And it's kind of absurd, how they have all these things coming out. Oh, it's the boar's meat. That's killed 2 people and 300 are sick. And they're all in the hospital. And the oysters, the mushrooms. The one lady died in the restaurant. I think there's been a couple of people who have died from the mushrooms. Now, I don't think it was the same mushrooms either. It wasn't the same restaurant or anything. There was another thing, too, that I heard some people die from in a restaurant the other day. I don't know. All this stuff is there to make us sick. And so like that's something that could even come out like in the water in Houston, that stuff's in the water. Like that would be the thing you'd have to go and do, how many of the people who have the HM have also had any of these things in the recent sickness attempt to, because that is what they were really doing, just putting in more sickness. So but both of those things, like this guy was like, everybody needs to know that this is what they're going to do. But to me, it's like they're already doing this. They're already messing with the food. They're already messing with the water. And if they did make all of these animals sick and then they were trying to feed them to us or give them their eggs, because they test on things to see what things are going to make us the sickest. And so then, I think that they release these bacterias and stuff into the water, because it was, I'm not even taking my dogs to the lake or anything this year. Because Stella wants to get in them, and she wades around, and she drinks the water out. She acts like a hippo when she gets in the water. And I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but we had gone, because all these years are just running into each other. I mean, we had like 2 weeks of summer here. And supposedly it's going to be summer again this week, but I don't know. The sun's already so low, it won't even go over the trees. So in my yard, it's like the sun's way down here. It's like, fuck. So let me think where I was. So the sun, the moon, which there's so many people doing pictures and stuff saying there's no way the sun's not supposed to be here. Look at the color of it. Like this red sun is weird. And in the white one too. But there's all sorts of people that keep doing more videos and looking at it and noticing how off everything is. But so the food thing. So if they were really blowing those places up because those places were going to be poisoned, and all those birds, all those animals were already sick in these places because they were there to make us sick. Oh yeah, the lake thing. Because I had taken her to the lake a few times, and she loves to get in the water. And like I said, and she's like a hippo. And so we had gone a few times, and there was people and stuff. And so I don't know, the last time we had gone, when I went walking up, she went in and, she's in the water, drinking the water, everything right away. And, it's just like our regular thing. And then I'm standing there and I start seeing these signs saying, don't let your animals in the water, don't let them drink the water and stuff. And then this woman comes walking across the bridge and comes up and goes, oh, they're not supposed to be in the water. And I said, I just saw that. That's weird because we were just in it like last week. And she said that they've got some algae or something. It always happens like, oh, the water's too warm now. And so now we have this stuff in it. But then I had seen videos this year of that one girl. It was real sad, the one I had seen, because she took her dog to the lake to swim and everybody's having fun and her dog loves swimming. And then he got super, super sick and she went to the vet and then they discovered he died within a few hours. And it was some neurotoxin that's released. And so it kills them really quick. And so she's like, why are we not being told to keep our dogs out of the water? And she said that the vet said that they don't do it until some dogs die from it. Then once the dogs die from it, then they start saying to keep out of the water. So I don't even know if some dogs had died in the one by us or what. But I just thought, at the same time, I was seeing way too many videos of people were catching these people in white suits outpouring things in lakes and rivers and creeks and stuff, spraying stuff. So it's like, man, they are doing all of this stuff. But anyways, I just thought that's another way to look at it, though. And we don't know for sure yet. Were they trying? Because they want us to eat all this stuff that's sick. So when they're saying, oh, well, this stuff has got disease, then it's like, well, that's the stuff you're trying to give us. So that seems kind of like disclosure to me, like it's a way to get us to see and to wake up to, our resources is a big thing because they got control over our resources. And so, then that's a source of how we get our minerals. And, I mean, that to me, every time I think about it, because I was thinking about it yesterday, it just blows my mind how they sold us this idea about aging, and it was all created. Like everything was done to make us sick. Like we were actively killing ourselves. And it's still happening. Like it's still like so many people have no idea. They have no idea that they need minerals and that they don't have, they don't realize how significant it really is to our diet. And that's why, we're just seeing all these people get older and older, but it's not really getting older. It's really getting drained of all your minerals. That one woman too, who I had, when I very first had started, and her hair was like real silver, like my mom's, like her whole head was very silver. Like it's mind blowing with my mom's because the last picture I had seen of her, she had sent me this picture and it was one of those where I hadn't seen her in a few months and it was like, oh my God, her hair's so white. Like her hair wasn't this white the last time I saw her. Like that's a big fucking jump. And then it was like her whole thing, it just looked like her whole hair was white, like a cotton ball or something. And then so I said, you got to drink that copper, Mom. And so she made a little copper thing with wire. And so she was drinking that. And so she was getting a little. But then I sent her a cup. And so she said she couldn't believe it. The very first time she drank out of it, she said, well, she saves the water and then she pours it into, I swear she was walking around with some alcohol bottle. Like you're just chugging off out. So I don't know. It was a big glass bottle though. And so she was drinking, she pours it into that and drinks it out of that. But she could tell a big difference, the amount of copper she got off of the cup, because she said she felt so energized. She couldn't believe it. And that's when she started telling people it made such a big difference in how she felt. And it's because you're so depleted of minerals. And so then when I just went and saw her a couple weeks ago, I couldn't believe it. I was like, it was shocking. is there's no white in her hair, and it's all like the back is really dark, and all this front part is like a really dark gray. Like it's very changed. I'm sure the next time I see her, her hair is just going to be all brown. And her skin was improving too. Like I said, people kept telling her she didn't look over 50. And she said, as soon as people start saying, you know, your hair is changing color, she said, nobody's saying anything yet, which she is even surprised. But one of her friends, but her friends is already doing it too. But like people in church and stuff. And she said once people start saying, she's going to start telling them about it, get on the copper and stuff. And that's what I keep doing. Like I've told a few people and they just don't listen. Like, especially when you try and say, oh, aging isn't real. They're just like, yeah, right. Look at me, I'm aging. Good, crazy person. And it's like, yeah, but no, you're just being shorted minerals and you are just, this is what happens. If you don't have enough minerals in your body, you deteriorate. And so and then they tell us it's called aging, but that's their name for it. And then it's like we're giving a different thing. Oh, well, you just age because you're getting older, and make us count our birthdays and stuff to go along with this program, and which has no significance. Once you realize some of this stuff, it just is mind blowing. It's like, how in the hell did they ever get us to go on these anniversaries and age ourselves like that? Like, you know, your birth date is your birth date. Why do we celebrate each year like we made it another year? It has no significance. Like, that's not how it works to be here. You know, you come in for a slot of time, and that is it. That's all you have, is that moment in time. And and it impacts everyone. You know, when you leave that moment in time, everyone is impacted, and that's what, you know, there's all this learning from it, all this growing. So, you know, it's just how it works. And let me think, because I feel like I'm skipping off of something that I hadn't finished saying yet, because it was so the water, and then plus the air. And I can't believe how much I've been sneezing and coughing. My nose has just been pouring. I even had to get a tissue. Just like I'll do this, and it's like, oh my gosh, my nose is just pouring. And sneezing. Sneezing really gets me. The just constant sneezing. That is definitely something it's like your body reacting to try and get something out, an invader. And same with coughing. You're trying to cough stuff. Your body's trying to reject something. So, you know, we're just under attack all the goddamn time. And let me think. Because there's still something that I feel like I had skipped off of. Weather. Like, I don't even know if you can tell. Listen, though. It's fucking quiet. Where's all the morning birds? Do they not sing when it's foggy? That is weird. It is so foggy when I look out. It's so scary movie-ish. Like, the person's house across the street is very foggy. It's eerie, man. Like, fuck. I saw a video. This was alive. And this was just talking. It had something written. And then what was written is, it said it's really July 19th. It's not August 1st. But July 30th, all this stuff is going down. And that August 1st, everything's going to be changing. We got all these people, all these astrology people saying August is a big significant month, and explaining all these things. Like, we're going into the month one way and coming out of it a different way and stuff like that. Which all of these time periods are all going to be like that. Everything is leading us to change. And so, and everything is here to force change upon us. So that's why it's important to get more with the program and stop trying to fight against it. It's trying to fight against and action and movement is just going to create frustration. And it's just like the same as being out in the ocean and being caught in the undertow and trying to fight it. You're just going to drown yourself. You've got to learn how to relax and go with the flow and be in the current. It's so trippy too how current, like there's a electrical current, and then there's the water current, and I don't know, it's just weird because one current can create another current too. But anyways, the I'm just seeing what I was gonna say, and hold on, let me see if I can see it again. The oh yeah, this was the other thing. Because so they said that it's going to, and I've heard this a few times, but they said it's going to be this EBS thing is going to go down. And all that power is going to go out. Like if they're going to hit us with something, which there's a whole bunch of shit going on in the middle, and it's like, fuck. Now we're all involved in it. Like we were always involved in it, but now we are like really a part of it. Like this is like before things could go on over there and we could be involved and people just didn't pay any attention. Well, now that's why it's going to be that this is going to be a lot more, know the consequences of what has been being done. But there's a lot of, I don't even know, there's some assassinations that happened of some leaders of some organizations. So they got that going, and then they've got those, there's always a what you do to me, I'm going to do to you, back and forth thing, like gangs. You took out one of ours, we're going to take out one of yours things. So they've got that whole thing going. And so people who are more familiar with the politics over there are saying this is really, really bad, what's about to happen. Like they're going to just blow some places right off the thing. And then there's more threats of, to me, what I see coming can clearly be that they're going to tell us that we're being attacked by nukes and to prepare. Like that Hawaii moment, that Hawaii thing had more significance than what it seemed to be at the time. I think that they were monitoring, like what happened, what did the people do, where'd they go, like it's like that they're preparing for what they are doing. So they always do like these little beta tests. And so I would not be surprised at all if we all of a sudden got notifications that there was incoming new disaster situation happening. And of course, it would hit something that was going to cause more of an expansion in the disaster. Maybe they would say there was going to be hit a couple, but then they would do it with frequency. And but anyways, whatever is supposed to go is supposed to put down this the power and stuff. And then this is the thing that's always so weird. So it's supposed to go down, but then like there's only going to be like an emergency part that comes up, so you're not going to be able like to access. It's like you're not going to be able to turn your TV into a different channel. It's just going to be this military channel that is on, and it's going to be 8-hour segments, and it's going to run back to back all day long, all day and all night. And it's all going to be telling us about the stuff that's been going on. It's all going to be telling the truth stuff. And I'd heard that for a long time, so I don't know if it's just that still lingering or if that really is going to be what's going to happen. We'll know what's going to happen once it happens. We just know something's going to happen. But so that they said that then they're, so it's going to go down, and we're going to hear all this stuff. It's going to go for like 10 days, and then it's going to come back up, only we're going to be on the quantum system and all of that stuff. And then I saw that the car thing is crashing. I was just more cars being repossessed, like the whole car loan thing is crashing. We already know the housing loan things are crashing. Oh yeah, and they were saying on this one video that it's all going to link together and that it's all going to crash. So once the power goes down, and then I don't know if that's when they'll say, oh, that crashed the I don't know how it's all going to go. I just know all these things are going away so that we can have something new. And they've got to take it away slowly because people have to wrap their minds around it, because people don't even understand you can live different than how we are trained to live. And so it's all this process in order to get people to, I don't know, recognize their own power, recognize their own supremacy. Supremacy was coming into my head. Man, there was like fucking space invaders trying to get into. Man, it's weird. I've never had so many, I guess it's beings like in this other realm trying to pull me in or something, and they do it through their eyes. It's weird, so weird. But the eyes are like the window to the soul, so it is like a portal in some kind of a sense, like you could be pulled into somebody else's reality or something. I don't know. I'm staying the fuck away. I just pop my eyes open every time to get away, because it's not like you can look away when they're coming at you. It's not like you can look away. It's like they just come and come and come and come. It's like every time I have to open my eyes to get away from it. So I don't know. It's creepy as fuck. But okay, let me think. So more with the calendar jacked up, where we don't even know what date it is anyways. And then they have us celebrating. And yesterday, I was sitting there feeling all day like, geez, feels like it's almost Halloween or something. Totally feels like it, especially with this weather. Feels like Halloween. How we have 2 weeks of motherfucking summer, and now it's like feels like it's about to be Halloween. And I was like, that's weird. And then this morning, what makes it even weirder is there's this live going, this giant opening, all these huge crowd of people there for this big opening for a spirit store. So we got grand openings of spirit stores happening right now. If you want to find out where your spirit store is, so you can run down there. I was like, okay, so clearly it is almost Halloween. Like, what in the holy hell? Like, this is so fucking weird. And around Halloween is when Stella turns 8. But anyways, it's just like, what in the fuck? There's something just weird about time. Yeah, because I was like, I'm not even going to say anything about this Halloween thing. Just like, it's just me, my weirdness or something. Because it's not almost Halloween. But then it's like, well, it's almost Halloween. So, I don't know. Everything is weird. So now that's going to be, do we have, oh, yeah. And everybody's talking about school is starting way faster. So they're having a short, and that's what I thought too. She's like, oh, well, I'll go back to work next week. And she works at the school. I'm like, what? Summer's already over? Like, what the fuck is the beginning of August? Used to be you had all of August, and then September, it was after Labor Day is when school used to be. That you're over here, that the kids would start back, and now it's like, but I'm seeing all these different people saying it seems too quick. Why is school starting so quick? So that's weird. Then you have the big, thing that happened with the lady in her kitchen or whatever that called 911, and then she was done in for, and then her daughter is coming out and saying that what it sounded like to me, that her daughter was saying that she was being, look, the mom knew something was up, like she was being stalked or hunted or gang stalked or something. I'm not even sure. And then, but that to me also could be another one of these things that's a total setup, because nobody nobody who would be involved, only the people who are involved right there at the place would know. So if they have, like a cop, a dirty cop or whatever, and he's going to, he had to go dirty because the chief, you had to do whatever. Like they've shown this in so many cop movies, and it goes from the top down. Again, that's why they want these guys that don't question things to be the employees. And it's not, from them going up, it's from the top going down. All these mayors and city councilmen and all this taking money from, it has to do with corporation and developers and stuff, and certain land, and just a bunch of shady shit. And so it's just all this shady shit that all these people do. And but they're all going to be going down for it. That's where we're going to see clearly, who was the shadiest of them all. We're going to be seeing, I think all these city councilmen, all these kind of people, they're all just so fucking shady. And, oh yeah, there's more coming out to it, that French prime minister person, about being trans and being a guy, and then their whole show all being all that sex show and trans and all that stuff. So all this stuff is about exposing. But so if this cop, say, was, a double agent, so he went in and pretended, like, in this woman, like it was all a pretend situation, because there's a lot of these, like fucking Anne Heche coming out of the body bag when they're saying she's dead and shit. There's footage of the same thing with Michael Jackson. Like the ambulance went and pulled in some parking garage, and he got out and walked away. So so everything is like so built on illusion to confuse us and stuff. But so I was thinking that they're doing these same dirty tricks back on the people. So if they go in and they do that and pretend to take this woman out, make the whole show, she's taken out, and got her daughter out there saying they were after her, and, to expose more stuff. But if it is to trickle up, so it exposes this captain, exposes this lieutenant, and all these people that were involved in all these crimes in these different districts and these different precincts and stuff. So it could be something like that. But it could also be like we've just got crazy cops out here right now that are just like going crazy. But some of the stuff I think is to expose some of the stuff. Like just the thing, even with the blowing up all those food places. When a guy was saying about how they're messing with all the meat, and he was showing like they're out in the forest injecting deers and stuff with stuff, things that people will go out and get and eat. And then of course they're always after certain people, because those people, the people who like the thing they sell us to on the liberals is like these people are all crazy, and they all just have them because they just want to go out and shoot around on everybody. But a lot of it is hunters. A lot of them are, it gives people an independence. And so they're going to go after those people who, want that independence. They're going to attack them in their, that's where they're going to attack them, make a whole family sick. So but that makes sense that they're out there doing that. But it also, when they have made all these other animals sick, yeah, and they're going to tell us, oh, they have to kill them all because they're too sick to feed us. It's like, that is all you guys want to do, is feed us sick shit. You fucking kidding me? So, yeah, that kind of stuff is like, I don't know, to me, it seems like, okay, well, there's obviously like a group that is trying to expose these things to get us to see and pay attention and notice. So, let me think. Because, oh, yeah. And after I had said that about like people were going crazy over this kid who beat that dog, which is so crazy too, is like, there's way more people beating their dogs than just that kid. Like, there's just a disrespect that humans have towards animals, and it shows. It's completely shows. It's exposed in our society. Like, you can just look around and see. So this kid's not the only one. It's not like, oh, that one kid, he's out there beating animals. And it's just a horrific video that is stomach turning. I didn't even, I'm telling you, I only saw a few seconds of it. And it was just the hearing. I could still hear the cries of that dog. It was horrible. There was no fucking way I could say. I was just so astounded that somebody's sitting there filming it and like laughing. I was like, what the fuck? What is wrong with people? And I had no idea that it was going to be this whole thing, and he would be hunted down, because I see a lot of horrible fucking videos of animal stuff. And so you had all these people who were hunting him down. They had his name. They were showing his address. They were showing his place on Google Maps, all this stuff. And somebody went and burnt it down. And then the one guy who is asking for someone to come and kill him, he's doing more videos. And I don't even know, like, dude, are you for fucking real? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you just saying this stuff because you're trying to get somebody to come and do you in? Like, this is, this one guy was so disgusted listening to his video. He said, I'm getting this guy taken down. Now, I told him in the comments, this guy's advertising for someone to come do him in. And because he has like 159,000 followers. I would think that happened overnight because, you know, what he's going and saying. And I don't know why people go and follow people like this. But this one guy was saying in the comments, all these people were like agreeing with them. And the video that this guy was showing was, so apparently now he's talking about his crime that he did to this 12-year-old. And he said that, oh, it was all her. She was the aggressor. I was shocked. I couldn't even believe a 12-year-old would do this kind of stuff. But she's the one coming over and grabbing me. And it is like, dude, you are a motherfucking adult. If you can't see that a child coming and acting out sexually has got some fucking issue and you're going to take advantage of that, like, you're going to blame it on the kid? Well, she wanted it. It's like, these people are warped. It's like, so if a kid wants a bunch of cookies or candy or whatever, just give them what they want. Just give them what they want. If a kid comes and does something inappropriate, you don't automatically think like, oh, somebody's doing something to hurt this kid. I need to protect this kid. What the hell? And instead you think like, oh, yeah, I got it. She wants it. What am I going to do? And so, you know, there's people who are just like outraged. But there's people in his comments that are like, yeah, I know. It's like, oh my God. But that is, you know, that could also be something that's just like a magnet to suck this certain energy out to be exposed. And, you know, I don't know. Are they even realizing that they're being exposed? Do they realize that there's people out there on the internet who go and look up your accounts? They find you on Facebook. They find your family members. They start telling all of your family what you do. Like, they'll go and look at all the things that you comment on. And like, there's people who really get serious about this shit and expose stuff. Like, there's all sorts of people being exposed for shit. So this kid, the dog beater, he was exposed and got arrested, got bailed out, went home. Somebody went and burned their house down with them in it. Yeah, I don't know that the people, I think all the people got out because I haven't heard anything about that. But the house is just like a pile of ashes on Google or something now. And then there was people saying, you know, well, I wasn't trying to get this going. This is what, when you feed this kind of energy, this is what happens. It's like, it was in the Twilight Zone, man. Just watch fucking Twilight Zone. It tells you a lot about life. But these people do this stuff and get people all revved up and pissed off and outraged. And then people can't manage their emotions. They can't manage themselves. And they're all fucking jacked up on this social justice warrior. I'm going to save the planet. I'm going to save the animals. I'm going to do this and do that. And you got to also take into consideration that all those animals, they're going through these things with different people, are like their spirit animals. They're animals there to teach them to have compassion and empathy and stuff. And to us, we can watch it and be like, this is outrageous. This is disgusting. But we're not there. We're not privy for the whole fucking lesson. We're not at their life review. We're not at these things. Like, we've all gone through these weird experiences to learn. I'm sure probably through different lifetimes, we've all been mean to animals and stuff. And then those of us who feel more compassion, it's because we learned it. It's because we learned to be more compassionate towards animals. And the animals come in to teach us compassion. So we are really watching people learn and grow. And it's sad, that some people take multiple lives to learn certain lessons. And that is where you have to see it from all different angles so that you can really grow or change or advance or whatever. So there is this, it's a development that we go through. But, I don't know, there's just so many souls that want everybody to be like on the same page or something. And that is when you are trying to project all of this stuff onto other ones, that is, you got to look at you, not at all them. Well, they're not looking at what I'm looking at. They're not seeing what I'm seeing. They're not listening to what I'm listening to. So therefore something's wrong with them. It is like, you got to see what gets you to feel so, angry or upset or, not recognized or whatever. And there's so much of that coming to the surface right now because of all the people who are still asleep. And there's like all these people who are like, well, that's my family members, everyone in my family, nobody will listen, everybody thinks I'm crazy. It's all the same stuff over and over. And, but there's a reason for it. This isn't all by accident. There's a profound reason why it's going to happen the way it happens. And so we still have this event that's going to be the one that wakes everybody up. And there's going to be all these lessons in all this learning and growing from how people treated each other through this stuff. And so that's why I say, you got to really be mindful. Don't get all caught up in like anger and stuff. Like, like that's where people go back to like lynching and stuff. They all get jacked up on, and there is this, because religion gives that a hierarchy, I'm better than you kind of situation. But there's so much stuff like right now too with religion. All this stuff is just keeps coming to the surface. And it's all so people can, start recognizing their own behaviors. It's like you got to recognize your own behaviors, but you got to recognize what motivates your behaviors, because that's where you find what is it that you can clear out, clean up, so that you can feel better. So you got to look for what is that motivates you. Why do you feel like you're so upset? Why do you feel like you need to save the world? Because that's a lot of pressure, and it is horrible. It's horrible to watch this stuff go on, and it does motivate us to want to save the world, save as many animals as we can. And the amount of the kill shelters that are just like, we got to close down the kill shelters. Like, that just, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're not going to, like, it's so disgusting what they're doing. I mean, they're just murdering young animals and healthy animals. It's completely disgusting. Like how, it's like, round up the homeless, starts with the dogs, and then it moves into the people, and then it's like, well, if you don't have a home, you don't have anywhere to go, we just need to do you in, because we only need people here who can work and support themselves. You're a burden to society, which they've already been pushing that in like Norway and in Canada. They already have people, going through that machine, which is just a consciousness sucker. They just leave their bodies empty. They just take the consciousness out. But the people don't die. They just move them. They just move them into a different, in black boxes and computer games and whatever scientific technology thing that they're working on. They put them into robots, whatever. I don't know. I think all that stuff's gonna definitely come out. But yeah, to me, like, if we have that little of compassion, like, well, if you're a homeless dog, well, let's kill them. That is how we look at it. And also, I don't remember if I had said, there was another one of these cool dog places in Maine. This woman started it, I don't know, 50, 60, maybe 100 years ago. I don't know. But it's still going. And it's set up just like that one in Romania. It's like this big farm, and all the dogs have their own little houses. And people can go out and interact with them and get to know them. See, that's the more of the stuff we need to have. And there's lots of people who would love to run places like that. It's just the government gives the government their grants so that it's a part of their laundry. But now, when it starts being that money's going back into the people's hands, into communities, that is where there is going to be people who want to have places like that. More of these little farms where people can come out and meet dogs, and the dogs can have lives. And they're really cool because they have like each of the little houses are set up kind of like little houses inside, so that the dogs can feel comfortable, because a lot of dogs, like, that's one thing, like, I wouldn't want to give Max to somebody else either, is because that would be hard on Stella again. She's already, she's being weird to him, and I don't know if it's because she's being sick, or if she's just being like, you're in my space, you're trying to take my stuff, you're trying to take my mom, and being irritated with him or whatever. But also for him, like, see how he's not choking or any of that stuff anymore? I know it was nerves. Because every time he would do something that made him nervous, he would start doing it. And he would do it every time we'd go for a walk. And now he's not doing it at all. And it's like, how many, I don't even know what his life is. They sent me more papers on him, and they say they think he's like 4 years old. So I don't know. Still, to me, it seems like he lived in someone's home, but he's definitely not a fan of kids. And we went over there to babysit yesterday, and something that kids have got to realize, you can't just be going up and doing stuff in dogs' faces all the time. You will get bit. It's like, I can see why dogs don't really like kids so much. And I noticed when I was on my trip, because it was like we were around all the kids while I was in Yakima. And one of the grandsons is scared to death. He doesn't have dogs at his house. And his mom's not a fan of pets. So he's scared of all of them. He just starts crying. And then the other one, he loves them. He lives with 2 dogs and 3 cats. And he loves dogs. He thinks he's one. He wants to go move their waters around for them, give them things. If they get in trouble for doing something, he goes and gets it and starts giving it to them. He's like really into the dog situation. But with Max, because they were kind of like the same size, he kept trying to lay on Max and like do a puppy pile with Max, and Max would just be sitting there looking like a grumpy old man, like, what the hell? And then after a while, he would just get up and walk away. The only time he would really give him any kind of mind was when he thought that the kid had treats, which the kid would go get his little thing of treats. You know how little kids carry around these little things with their little cereals and stuff in him. So he goes over, he gets his little thing of his cereals, and then he starts digging his hand in and throwing them out for the dogs, throwing them out for the dogs. They're both so cute, both those little boys. And the there there could be another one that's coming. So we'll see what's happening about that. So you know, we'll just see. Yeah, it's a surprise. So we're just waiting to see what's gonna be next. So the let me think. So yeah, they go and burn that kid's house down. If that's for real, I mean, it definitely seemed like it was headed that way. I mean, those people are lucky they just didn't get strung up. There's just people who would. You just go and take them, drag them behind their car, string them up. Like, come on, people. Like, this is not the way that we react. How do we react with anger with more anger? How do we react with violence with more violence? How do we teach by doing the same behaviors as the one we're trying to teach? That's not the way to teach. The way to teach is to do better, to role model. You know, I mean, we need to. You know, if people want to get dogs for hunting, like I don't even know, because the trainer guy who was training these dogs, he was involved. It's like fuck. To get a dog to just be submissive and fear is a dangerous way to try and train your dog. Is that you have a dog that doesn't trust you? And it's like, well, you know, and I have that awareness, you know, because mine is not a hunting dog, but she's a working dog. She's a protector. She's my guardian, and she takes it serious, and I take it serious. And I think he's caught on. He's like a little lookout. It's so funny because we'll go for a walk, and he's like looking out, stop, and he does these like poses like he's a hunting dog or something. And my daughter looked it up though, and she found that it's a real breed. She found like she did his picture, looked it up, and then read all the stuff, and he matches this retro pug, something called a retro pug. And so they were bred to have a longer snout, longer limbs, bigger, like all that stuff, like what these breeders do. And it may not be one that caught on where a lot of people were like wanting them, but there's all these breeders doing this, making these new dogs. And then all of these places are being filled up. And one thing, too, this is sad that this is exposing these backyard breeders is a lot of the puppies that are being taken to the shelters are ones that weren't sold. So then they're just like, well, you know, I don't want them here. You take them. It's like, so they just have to be put to death because you're just having your dog knocked up so you can make a couple $100. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's why, you know, we've got to do better. We have to recognize, we have to set our moral compass like, well, that's not cool. It's like, man, it's kind of spooky out there of how little morals are really out there in the world, how little integrity we've really been living in. We've been fucking living in dangerous, predatory existence for a long time. Oh yeah, and there's a lot of scams going, man. Yeah, don't answer back to any of this shit. If you get something in the mail, don't scan it. Don't do anything. Like you can, the things that they send in the mail, because they're sending out gifts in the mail, and then people are going and it says, if you want to know who it comes from, scan it. And when you scan it, it empties out all your accounts. So all those things, and then there's like tons of emails. I've been getting them for years now. I just delete, don't even open them because they're constantly sending you stuff. Oh, your order's been okay. Oh, your order's on its way. All that stuff. You go open it and you try and figure out like, well, I didn't order anything. What are you talking about? Like, go check your accounts and stuff. Don't just listen to these emails. You got to ignore them because they're all scams. And there's so many people who all their money is being taken out of their accounts. And the banks are just like, well, you know, there's nothing we can do about it. It's because they're a part of the motherfucking scam. That's why they're going down. If they were legit, if they were really there for us, it would be something that we would be holding on to. But it's not because they aren't. They're just a part of this corporate predatory world that was created to suck the fucking life out of us. make us sick. And then, there's just all these people. And then when you see these movie stars and stuff, like I saw Jennifer Aniston outside being filmed the other day. And I don't know if it was filming a movie, so I don't know if she has on weird makeup or something or what the hell, but she looked so strange. And it's just like, man, they take these cute girls, just regular cute girls that go in to try and be movie stars, and then they start having them go do all this stuff to their faces and just jacks up their face and turns them into these abnormal. She just, to me, she just looked really hard. She just looked really, and that's one thing too, is like when people hold on to their anger and resentment, it's going to show through. That's why you got to heal. That's why years and years and years of doing it, that is a part of the aging process, is all your anger and tension that you hold on to that is a part of your not healing, and that shows through. You got to be doing your healing, and you got to be on top of taking in the minerals and stuff. And so and to me, for sure, like, I think we should all be drinking out of copper. I think that we should just all be drinking out of copper. We should all be cooking on cast iron. We should really not have plastic and all that stuff, because it leaches so many toxic chemicals. We should have no chemicals in our worlds. Nature provides for everything, and the chemicals are killing us. They're making our bodies weak. So then when they put all this stuff in water and food and stuff, that our bodies can't fight it. We don't have enough, not enough stamina, not enough, we're not strong enough to fight against all this stuff, because we're so depleted from our minerals. And then there's such an assault on with the chemicals that beat you down and get everything out of balance and stuff. And then you start adding in the bacteria and stuff like that, and it's the perfect thing to create really sick people. And then you have such a dependency in all of the sickness that they all turn to the people making them sick to ask them to make them better. It's like, that's how absurd this place is. It's like the people don't even realize, like, you're going and asking the person that made you sick to make you not be sick. And they made you sick for a reason, because this is a game to them. And they're going to enjoy watching you out there floundering around trying to get better. And the only way to get better really is to pull free. And it's an ordeal. Like what I'm going through with Stella all the time, it's like, oh my God. Sometimes it's so much like 2 steps forward, 14 steps backwards. It's like, oh my gosh. And I do realize, like, fuck, she's a giant breed and she's almost 8. She's doing fucking good. But still, there is, I know that they can live to be 13. And so, that's my goal. But I just, I'm going to dump the pool thing again today, because that is one thing. She loves to drink water outside. And then whatever stuff they put, it causes this breakouts. And she has this one sore under here. And it's like about this big. And I can't soak it. It feels flat, but it looks like a open kind of thing. And then she's got these 2 things here. And I kept thinking maybe it was sap. And I was trying to pull, but then it was like, her skin was showing. I was like, is this trying to have 2 more of these ulcer kind of sores? And are these ulcers, maybe was that something by her vagina? And then still, when I look up about any of this stuff with the smelly vagina, it's just like, it's not that big a deal. Because I kept thinking it would say like, oh, that's a sign. But even if there's signs of the C word, like their solution that starts with the CH and ends with a MO is not the healthiest thing to do. It's only like a small percentage of people does it even help, and most of the people it does them in, but the doctors make a lot of money off of it, so there's a plus for them. But the other stuff, like the parasite, I think I'll try a different one, Maybe just a different brand to change it up or something like that. Because she has had some times where it's like, man, give it to her and just like she just is doing so good. So I'm not really sure. It just is, I don't know, it's nerve wracking when you're dealing with somebody who is sick and then you think they're doing better and then they get sick again and then you think they're doing better and then they get sick again. It's like, oh my gosh. And then my kids were like, well, now you're gonna have another dog. What are you gonna do? Like, when Stella's gone, you're gonna still have this dog. It's like, yeah, this one could live like fucking 10, 15 more years. So it's got to be one that you like. And I do like him. Like, it's very different though when you raise this little tiny dog from a baby. Like, Stella is my baby. This guy is like, a homeless guy that came to stay with us, but I really like him. He's a character. He's really funny. He's got a lot of funny little quirks. But see, that is the thing too, is when we treat homeless animals like that they don't have any value, then of course, when we don't have any value for these animals, then they're going to, of course, move it up. Well, they don't have, we got that taken care of. So now we'll start on the homeless people. And they'll do a lot of stuff, beating them down, getting people in the news, like, oh, look at what they're doing. They're destroying the cities. There's garbage. And then you have a lot of people who live in the cities where all these people are. And they're like, there's poop and pee everywhere. It's disgusting. And there's people in the streets everywhere. Well, this is how it's going to go. It's like, city's not going to get better. It's not going to improve. It's going down. Like, this is, when those things start bothering you, it's because that is your time, that's your cue. Exit stage left. It's when something's bothering you, it's like, okay, I'm uncomfortable. This isn't how I want to live. I don't want to live, pay huge inflated rents so I can stay here, walk, over poop all day, around people who are drugged out and homeless, and then garbage everywhere. Oh, Hawaii. Man, I just saw videos of Hawaii. It's got the highest homeless population right now, apparently, and a lot with the cost too. Because these are people who live on these are people who are native to these lands. And then they make it where these people can't afford to live in their own native land. That is what these people do. Oh, well, we like your land. We're going to put some hotels out here so everybody, we can charge people to come and check it out. Well, then the people can't afford to live in them. Where they, it's their land. It's up to them if they want to have fucking hotels or not. But it's always these corporations, these developers, these city councils. They're all just motherfucking corrupt as fuck. So, it's all this is exposing all of that stuff so that we can clearly see. And everything is also to bring this certain part of us to life so that we do have caring and compassion. It isn't right to just kill animals because they don't have a home and they don't have a family. They are alive just like we're alive. Everything alive has the right to be alive. It became alive for a reason. And when you go in and interfere with somebody else's living, then you are creating this entanglement, this barrier in this karmic debt that you don't want to. And I think people get drawn in, like whoever went and burnt that house down. It's like, it would have to be people from their own soul groups and stuff. Like, well, it could be people from their own soul group that was going to do that. So there was all these lessons. But if it is some rogue, soul who stepped in, yeah, but everything is going to happen the way it's going to happen. That's the thing. That's always the thing, is like, there's no surprises to the universe. You can't surprise the universe, even though to us it can be like, oh, that came out of left field. But there's no surprising. It's all written. This is like a replay. But there's different angles that you can come at things. And so, a rogue soul was like, oh, I'm going to step up and go do this. Then you would be entangled. Just like the guy who's asking someone to come kill him. Like, the person who was always going to kill him, it was already written. But to me, there's still an entanglement that it goes on. Like, I don't know. You got to be so mindful of the energy that you're putting out. And the energy you're putting out is like, how, because it is like if you're trying to force what you want on other people, that's a problem. You can't force what you want on other people. And it's also been a huge challenge. I was thinking about this morning because ever since I was a kid, I would know things way ahead. Like I could know things way ahead. It was like I could see something and I could see it playing out. And so I would know what was going to happen. And it's not like I could force people to, even when I would try and tell people, don't do that, blah, blah, blah is going to happen. And then, I would always be looked at like, kooky or trying to be controlling or always negative or something like that. And it is, so it's not like that I can know something and I can stop it. And so to go through life and be able to see these things and know these things ahead is a part of like being able to learn to let go, to be able to let people learn their lessons and let go and not try and control it. But it is weird. As I was thinking about like all these different things that I could see ahead, and then I would try and tell people, and I didn't know. Like I didn't, I have no idea why some of us can see so far ahead. To me, all it is just like just looking in my mind. I'm just looking and then I just see it. So I can just see this stuff. So I don't know. I don't know, to me, it would be like for the people who can't see it, it's they're blocking it somehow. They're not developed in that way because I think everybody can do these things. It just is like if you try, and then if you are trying and it's hard, to not give up, to keep trying. Because to me, it's not hard. Like it's not been a challenge. It's just, but the challenge has been to control like my attitude or how I see things or something like that. So that has been more of me learning how to handle myself. But that's like what I'm saying too is we all have different things we're here to learn. And the things that you are going to promote your learning or healing are going to be the things that are happening for you. And so that, is something to do with it, you know. And I know, I don't know, there's certain things too, like certain souls that have been like on spiritual paths and stuff, but it's been for multiple lives. And so, this everything is all like adjustments. Like, I don't know how long, maybe I've been working on trying to see the future for, lifetime after lifetime. It can be all, those are things I just don't know. I don't know why some of us have certain things that we can do and other ones don't. I just know that everybody can do all these different things. But like, I don't know, I try and like move things with my energy out of my hand. I'm not having success. Like, I mean, I haven't been doing like all, like set up all the little tinfoil things and all these different things that these people do. But I've definitely tried to move things with my hand without touching anything. And I can feel the energy heat up. Like I can feel it. Like I can feel just like touching right here. It's hotter right there. It's funny too, like in the Spider-Man movie, how they show like this energy thing, only they show it doing different. But this is an energy thing that where energy comes out of us. And so there's people who are being able to move things just by doing that with their hand. Like I could do this and knock this thing over. Well, this may be too heavy. Like you have to keep developing. Like they start out, a lot of them start out with like little tinfoil things, like really light things. There's one guy who bottles of water. Um, I think he was moving empty bottles, just the little crackly part first. But I don't know. I just see people just do these things. So, uh, all these different skills are all things that we can all work on. And telepathy, to me, that one is easy too. But the only thing I would say on that is that I think yesterday there was somebody talking inside my head that I hadn't heard before. And it was in a different place and it was loud and they said weird things like Washington. And it was real loud, Washington. I was like, well, who the fuck is that? And then I was like, okay, so I started envisioning putting a barrier around me. And I do that a lot of times, but it doesn't always work. But so I started envisioning putting this barrier around me, and I heard him say another thing. And I was trying to pay attention, and it was way up closer. And I thought, this could be that skull talking thing. If they're having something go through the airwaves, through the frequency or something, and it would be louder in a different place because there is, like I've said, it's different places where you like hear things to me. And I have said before, like to me, a lot of this, like it's all right in here. There's like all this where dark energy communicates. So you can feel like it's like right here. It's just so close. And I think that's why so many people think it's their own thoughts. But then you also, there's this close with your ears. And this is also where you can have the ancient ones or your ancestors or something whispering into you so you can hear, and it can be around here, but it's like lower. But this is where there's a lot of noise, but it's way at the back is where is that peace, the knowledge part. That is how mine works anyways. But that is why I talk about, like, you got to decipher through all the different noise that you have going on inside your mind to recognize the different ones. But there's different ones that are just popping off, like ones I hadn't heard before. And so I don't know, could be, we have other beings around us too, where people are having all sorts of attacks and stuff from, I don't know, entities or whatever. And to me too, if you keep feeling like there's an entity around, try and figure out, like, is there somebody who has died recently that you know of? Because I would say that it could be that person, but then it's not like you want to sit and try and communicate, because there is these shape-shifting souls or whatever, these I think a lot of them are just dark energy tricksters or whatever. But like that one lady who thought she was talking to this ancient spirit who was giving her all this information, who started being very what is that word, started being very controlling of her, possessive, started being really possessive of her because you're giving them a reality, you're giving them a life, you're giving them an experience, you're in communication with them. So of course they're going to hold on to you. They're going to hold on to that if that's all they've got is this communication. And so they are communicating and trying to keep you to themselves so you continue the communication. And something happened where somebody had told her, I don't remember, I think it was like a preacher of her little Irish town or something, told her, ask it this, or it's trying to trick you or whatever. And so then that's when she figured out that it was a trickster, and she started seeing it. And then she asked them, and then they said, no, they aren't an ancient spirit. They were just trying to tricker or whatever, but then you got the spirit who won't leave you alone. So I would say, don't, just because you know of somebody, because when somebody is passed and they're trying to communicate, I'm pretty sure that you have a strong sense of them. You feel them. They'll pop into your mind, a smell associated with them, or a vision or something. Like there's a way that they communicate that they're there with you. And if you have a, but see, it's everybody on everybody's senses, because some of these people who are talking, I keep feeling like, this could be somebody who is just there trying to communicate, but you're so scared that you're pushing it back and you're not recognizing these signs or symbols or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. Just be more mindful of that. Like if there's spirits around you, if there's a lot of them around you, you don't have to go and start talking to them all and start communicating, because, yeah, they could be just wanting to suck your energy out of you. They could just like your energy and they just want to be a part of it. But we do have communication. We do have beings who care about us, who are around too, who are trying to help people through this period of time. And there's probably some too that are hanging out because there's gonna be people who are gonna be leaving, so they're kind of there waiting for them. That can also be, there's a lot of stuff going on, man, and there is gonna be a lot of changes. There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna go down, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be gone. And I don't know, when they're saying they're going to blow up all of these certain, all of Lebanon is going to be gone, like all these places. That's why I was saying there's going to be places where there's going to be a lot of people who are going to go at once. And it can be during this whole war thing, because obviously this war thing is a big part that has to play out from this age. We have to recognize in ourselves the parts that we play. And there's parts of us that were in these other lives. There's, you can look like a housewife in this life, but you were a fucking soldier in another one. So there's different things playing out for all different people. So all of these things is, like I said, this wrap up for the ending of this age, and all these things having to play out. But obviously war is a big thing that has to play out. This battling is so divisive, and in here it's so created. They create us to divide against each other, and then we buy onto it. And it's our biases and stuff. That's why, you healing your biases and being, having more compassion and caring for people is going to make all the difference in the world. Like, they make it seem like it's everything is outside of you to make you feel better. But really, it's inside of you. It's your attitude. It is you looking at things different. You healing and stuff is what makes all the changes. It's what changes your whole life. Is you looking at things different, being more mindful, being more, what is that? Being more, keep hearing provocative, but we don't want this provocative. That's what they're trying to create, this that's like a lure, but what we really want is this more wholesome, more safe, more connected, more, just, having fun, just like to have fun. You don't have to have a jet. You don't have to be able to jet over some place to be able to go have fun when there's, usually fun right around you. You just are looking out there instead of looking right here. So it is just this changing our attitudes, changing our understanding, to really start understanding the joy of everything that's around you, and not always feeling like you need more, you got to do more, and all that stuff to be happy, to be able to be happy with the simple things. And that is what we're all going more into, though. Like, we're going to be more sophisticated, technology, but it's going to be where we are as humans as beings are going to be more at peace. But it's all this tragedy is what leads to the peace. It's all this loss and all this things. Now I'm hearing temptation. So, but it's all of us going towards this, moving away from temptation and moving towards just this more peaceful way of existing, not this insatiable, like they keep everybody in this insatiable, wanting more and wanting in the most simplest experiences can be the most profound. You don't have to go and sleep with 14 people in one night to have some exciting adventure or something. You could just go swim and watch dolphins and have some kind of thing in nature where it gives you so much feeling of connection that you feel so much a part of this world. I think some things keep you feeling more, I don't know, in your head, and other things give you more of a connection. So it's just things that you got to start realizing, the things that are bad for you and the things that are good for you, the things that make you feel good and the things that make you feel bad. And there's a lot of things that make you feel good for a minute, but bad in the long run. Like there's a lot of people that can be thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to have a good time tonight. I'm going to go sleep with 14 people at the same time. And then the next day they get up and feel like, oh God, I feel so dirty. I feel so nasty. So then you gotta, go talk to your friends, and they're all like, oh yeah, we do it all the time. So it's like that's how it builds into this thing. But, go with how you really feel. If you feel dirty and nasty, then don't go do it anymore. Get away from that kind of scene. Get away from the people who want to do that. Go with how you feel inside, because you're only going to feel worse and worse. She's on the move. She's moving very slow. And she keeps keeping her head down a little bit, too. I keep thinking, is her neck hurting? I don't know. She's so uncomfortable. I hate it when she's uncomfortable. She is my baby. But anyway, oh my gosh, I've been talking a long time. A minute ago, it was 41 minutes. Now it's 1:22. So, you know what I gotta say is you gotta learn how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's up to you. So I'll talk to you later, unless they turn the power off. So at some point, we will connect. I'll talk to you later. Bye.